Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to part two of commissions and contracts. What I have in front of me, and I should probably tell you, part one, I talked about how to do commissions, contracts, and if you need them, I would mail you my templates, the ones I use, and you can change it as you see fit. What I have, okay, so now you've done commission work, you're starting to produce work. How do you get your artwork out there? If you're a digital artist, you kind of use DeviantArt and some of those other art in the landscape of the internet. But how about physical pieces? Have you visited your art museum, your art centers, and try to promote yourself that way? Now, let's just say you have a ton of art pieces, a ton. What this contract by the Art Center of Burlington, this is a proposal to submit your artwork, and they kind of describe, notice how detailed, how spread, they even use color. They're booking, look at how far out. This is 2022. I'm sorry, it's actually 2023. And they're booking for next year. And so here's the information you want to do. And of course, you would send them their like pictures, questions about what you need, and they'll just tell you if they'll even accept it before you even can do a show. And that's the next level. And they even put like what their gallery looks like, a mini gallery, their main gallery, and this is of course is for the main gallery, and it'll give you an idea how you can display your artwork, whether it's floating walls or the walls themselves. And guys, don't be intimidated. I'm going to talk about the main juice of the contracts, what to think about, what usually upsets people when they see these contracts, but let me get through and I'm going to do that. And if there's ever questions I'm not answering, please ask them in the comments below. Ask them, go back to the first video, ask those questions there. Part one of commissions and contracts. So if you get accepted, here is the contract. And they'll tell you about when times to hang up. You can see you will receive 75% of the commission of any artwork sold. Now, when you deal with galleries and stuff, they have to take a consignment. And you'll see that if you're doing a show, they take 25% because they're a physical entity, and this is how they make money. This is how they can support themselves and their employees, and then you get 75%. So when you factor in how much should I sell your artwork for, you know, what's your art materials? No matter how, even if I buy art materials on sale, I do their suggested retail price. I factor that in. Just because I got it on sale doesn't mean the next time I buy a pad, it will be on sale. Or if I buy different markers, or if I have to invest in technology. And then you have to factor in how much is your displaying, your presentation, meaning your mat board. How much did that cost you? How much did the frame cost you? So that's another thing that when I'm about to do a show, I start knowing what size are the pieces I'm going to buy, what kind of frames do I don't have custom frames built. I go to a place like that sells them on sale. I want quality, I want them to look nice, but I don't want them to be super expensive. And so I start looking at sales and I buy them on sale. Now, when I factor the price in, again, I factor in full price and then a little above it. And that gives me my price range. When I sell something, it's how much money do I have invested in it, and how much do I have invested in my experience and in my learning so to produce that piece of artwork that somebody wanted to buy. Just know that like when you read the last agreement or this agreement or the agreements, you will always see that the contracts are slanted towards the business a little bit, and that's to protect businesses. You have to understand people don't always follow through with their contracts, and you know, when you sign this, the art center is counting on you to be a part of that community and to follow, and because if you have a show for, let's say, June, and June 1st comes and your show's not ready to go, it hurts the business itself. So that's why they need to take a little bit of a take. You need to start thinking about artist statements, about how you do inventory, list of names and mailing address that they include. They cover a lot. They mail stuff out, digital media, the photos for social media. This is why art centers, museums, 25% isn't very much. This is usually 30%, but they have an artist market, and I'll talk about that contract with you again too. And then like here's the mini gallery now shown, because you could show whether it's a mini gallery or the main gallery, but you're going to get 75% of that sale, and they'll take care of the sales tax for you. Now, a lot of art centers, even a lot of smaller, like artist co-ops, they have an artist market. And in this artist market, you'll notice they'll take a deeper percent. It's they'll either 30 or 35% of the take. There's a size limit and a certain limit. So let's say you're not ready to do a show. Start selling your stuff through the artist market, and you can sell one piece at a time to just start bringing money back. Again, it comes down to learning how to present, and maybe I should make a video on how to do presentations, like getting things ready for matting and ways to like cut corners but still look professional. Because I've seen people use construction paper. I've seen people do things that the corners were cut too deeply, and it takes away from their beautiful artwork. And that's just something for you to think about. So an agreement with the artist market, again, you have to understand they're protecting themselves. If you forget to pick something up, this is where it'll be a fee of $20 a month, because you think about this, they shouldn't have to store your artwork if you agree to pick it up on a certain day. This is normal. This is fair to the business, and because it's your responsibility. If you take something there from July 15th and you're supposed to pick it up October 15th, and it's like the next year already before you decide to go in, yeah, you should be charged $20 a month, because they, like any place, they have limited space. They're not going to throw it away. But if you want to do business, you got to take the responsibility to promote yourself and to treat you as a professional. Because if one of your complaints is that people don't want to pay for your stuff, they don't want to treat you with respect, well, then you need to first start acting like a professional. So if you deal with an art center or a museum, that you are there when you say you're going to be there, you're going to pick up your stuff. It doesn't matter what kind of bad day you're having mentally, you do what you need to do. And all these contracts, those three, we talk about selling. The idea is not for you, if your number one goal is just to make money, I'm going to tell you right now, you most likely going to fail on that. Your goal is to promote you and your art. I've had art shows where I did not sell a single piece, but then I had shows where I sold all the pieces, and then I had shows where I didn't sell a piece, but there was a slow burn, meaning the people who saw the artwork, they actually liked it. And so over months, I would be contacted. And the art center was the one putting them in contact. They weren't worried about the commission because it's no longer in their presence, but they were sending the artist my way. And not only did I get the money that I wanted as it was in the gallery show, I usually got more because they would give me more money because they didn't buy it at the time and they wanted to be supportive of me. So keep that in mind of why we put stuff out there. And then, whew, I'm sorry if these are a little drab, and I'm sorry for saying sorry again. So I own an art studio, but this art studio that I have isn't just for me. I rent a big space and I created myself a very big office, but I also created smaller pods in other rooms for other artists to rent. So instead of them spending a lot of money, they spend a little money to get, and sometimes I write grants, and so I'm able to help people out. My studio isn't designed to make money. My studio is just to break even. As long as we can get rent paid, we're doing good. And I'll be honest, after 10 years of owning the studio, we're doing okay. We're able to keep things paid. So I want you to see what I do. And I talked about being slanted. You'll see that I even slant, a little bit to protect myself. We figure out what the rent is going to be. Sometimes my normal rent is $90 a month for a pod, but some people are, that's too much for them, but 65 is affordable. And because I had used to write grants and stuff, or business has been good for me where I, like I said, if I can break even but still help struggling artists out who live month to month, I can make that 65. Now, you'll see where it says deposit 0. At one time, I used to have a deposit, and that was to protect me. We're not renting an apartment, but since we've done so well, I don't take anything. Now, we even had a key deposit for $20 in case they lost keys and stuff like that. And that will pop up depending, because some parts of the studio need more keys than others. And it'll just depend on whether they need a key, whether they have a key deposit. But at no point, so basically when I had a gallery, it was 25% to the studio and 75% to the artist or writer. We have writers too. And that was when we had a gallery. We no longer have the gallery because we had moved locations. But I wanted you to see that even I take 25% of the take, and that supports the studio and allows me to help other artists out. And you would think that the artists, once they took their stuff out of the gallery, they would just sell it. The artists who've always rented from me always had my back, and they've always protected because they knew the studio was unique. Now, you may not have a studio like this. So what if the studio wants 10 or 15% of your artwork, even if they don't have a gallery? That if whatever you produce in that studio, they own a piece of. Guys, unless it's a big name that's bringing a lot of customers to you, then it's not worth it. Now, if they're a big name and they're bringing you business and traffic that normally people don't have, then you're kind of paying for that name. And that goes down to tattooing too. We have like tattoo chairs. All right, so we have two different kinds of tattoo studios, and there's more in between. But we have the tattoo studio where you pay rent for a chair. What you make is yours. Then we have the tattoo studio that has a big name. You rent the chair and you give 10% of your take, of your tattooing, or 5%. And that's not abnormal. You pay for the name. You rent your spot and you pay for the name because they're bringing you traffic because of that name. That's advertising, and that's not ripping you off. That's not being unfair to you. So like these guys, if they were able to sell things because it's, the Mr. O studio, and I'm bringing, that's part of what they pay for, and they need to adjust their pricing so they're making the money that they make. Now, I don't have that. Like I said, I don't have the gallery part anymore. So if they sell artwork out of the gallery or out of their studio, it's 100% theirs. I don't mind because we're more of a co-op now than just a regular studio. Guys, I hope I answered all the questions that I need to. I'm sure I did not, but don't be afraid to comment below some more questions. Don't overcomplicate things. You'll notice that the contracts that I make, I keep it simple. And never forget, you are amazing. And please like and subscribe. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.